Guys, what's the crack? Bitcoin with Dinny, and it's Dinny here. I want to talk to you about the old way of investing because it's broken and it doesn't work, and it hasn't worked in years. And I've seen a Facebook I've seen an ad this morning on Instagram from one of Ireland's largest financial planners, and just peddling this old way of doing things. And my response on Instagram, if you don't follow me on Instagram, check out Bitcoin with Dinny. You can see everything that I get up to every day. But my response was, the only person getting rich off this plan is your man selling it, the rent seeker, okay, the financial advisors. Because this way of generating wealth hasn't worked, and it hasn't worked in years. So I began learning how to become an investor back in my 20s. But it wasn't until 2010 that I really started to understand what investing was and understand portfolios in more detail. And I'd heard about the 60-40, okay? And the 60-40 is basically just your portfolio allocation between stocks and bonds. And the 60-40 rule, Ray Dalio had an all seasons portfolio, which is like a hybrid version of the 60-40. Now that really works. That thing has tested time for decades, okay? But your basic generic 60-40 stock bond portfolio, it doesn't work, okay? It hasn't worked in years and years. And if you understand macro, it's obvious as day that the thing is not going to work. It's not working today. If you price it against inflation, you'll notice that if you're of a 60-40 pension strategy, you're losing money. The guy who sold it to you is making money, but you're losing money. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. And if that sounds good, tuck in there, hit the like button. I'm just on the way up to the office. And before we get stuck in, I just want to say, nothing you hear is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Again, I mentioned that on Instagram. If I was a financial advisor, I couldn't tell you all the stuff that I done to go from caravan to financial freedom. Okay, I'd be locked up in regulation, so I would just become a salesman. I'd become a snake oil salesman, and I'd only be able to sell you products that would make me very rich. But you guys are lucky. I'm already rich. So I can tell you what you need to hear, okay? I can actually tell you the truth. And that's why you come here, and that's why you're a subscriber, and that's why you like the channel, okay? So, before we get stuck in, because we've been able to lure people all entering into Bitcoin when the price pumps, I just want to say to you, if someone finds you, they ring you or they find you online, and even if you think it's me, and they're offering to trade your money, to make some money, to do Forex for you, to mine Bitcoin, they've got an NFT or anything else, I 100% guarantee you, you will never see any money again that you send them, okay? So don't be scammed. Every day, my inbox, my emails, my messages, my phone calls, people who fall for this stuff. Please protect your friends and families if they're new to this space. The only way to be in this space, okay, is to do it yourself, DIY. That's why everything we do at Bitcoin with Dinny, we're Ireland's first Bitcoin consulting company, and for 4 years now, we've helped people to understand Bitcoin, to custody their Bitcoin, and build their plans to retire themselves early. And some of our clients have achieved that, and you will too. Well, I can't guarantee that you will too, because I don't know what you're going to do, but if you become my client, we can certainly set you on the right track. But the only way is to take responsibility. Take responsibility for your own money, okay? And there's a point to this little story here, okay? So, last night I done a free webinar. I had 150 odd people at it, okay? And I have a retire early club, and I opened up the retire early club for a specific number of applicants, because I don't take anyone to retire early club. I keep the retire early club. It's really important to me that I only get people who are a fit for the club, okay? And that means that they're people who are prepared to take full responsibility for everything in their life. And that's the only way you can live your life. If you want to be successful, everything in your life is your fault. And it doesn't matter if it's not. I've had all sorts of shit go wrong in my life, okay, people? But the only way that I could successfully move on from it is by taking full responsibility and understanding that I'm in control. I can change anything, no matter the situation. I can change it. If I play victim or if I outsource, if I play victim, I can just justify myself, okay? And that's why we don't take victim as a retire early club, because they're too toxic. They're like a cancer. They destroy the work ethic of the club. They destroy the atmosphere, okay? They destroy the community of the club. So that's why we don't take victims. And it's unfortunate, and we've all been a victim. I was a victim for a part of my life, and someone had to knock the victimhood out of me. And that's what truly allowed me to become successful, okay? So, lost my train of thought there. Something caught my eye. Maybe let this lad out while I'm getting my train of thought. Go on ahead there now. You can go too. We're in no rush here. We're here to be courteous. So being a victim, okay, and the second way is to outsource. That's what I mentioned to you. If you find someone who's going to do something with your money for you, you're outsourcing. Same way if you go to a financial planner, you're outsourcing. You're giving them your money. They're going to tell you what to do with your money, okay? They're not going to teach you what to do. What I do is I don't fish for you, I teach you how to fish, okay? So I teach you everything I've learned to go from living in a caravan, poorer than you are now, to owning 8 companies. I'm working because I'm insanely passionate about working, and I know all our companies do insanely positive things, so therefore I want to grow and scale them to as many people as I can, because they have positive influences on people's lives, and I have companies in all sorts of different niches, and finance and Bitcoin is just one of them. So you can't outsource, because you pay if you outsource, because you get a financial planner, you just make them rich. So the 60-40. Anyway, back to the point, Dinny. Oh yeah, some people be giving out now. Get on with it. Jeez, you talk too much. Apologies, I do talk a lot, but I have a lot to say. I have a lot on my mind, okay? And I do talk fast to try and get it all out. But 60-40, traditional investing. What you do is you buy 60% stocks and 40% of the portfolio, you put it into bonds. All right? Bullshit. That doesn't work. First off, your 40% that you've put into a bond, that doesn't work, all right? Bonds are not beating inflation. So you're giving your money, whether it's a 3-year bond, a 2-year bond, or a 5-year bond, or a 30-year bond. You aren't beating inflation, okay? So although you're earning a yield, you have to account for the hurdle rate. The hurdle rate is how much the money system expands, all right? And how you price that in is how much assets expand. Asset appreciation, not how much your eggs go up. You don't have to beat the price of eggs. You have to beat the price of other assets. So by you being exposed to a bond, it means that 40% of your portfolio is not exposed to something better. So what you've done is, because you've listened to old people talking about old ways that used to work, and sometimes young people do this because they're rent seekers and they earn money off peddling an old system, all right? But because you do that, 40% of your portfolio is just losing money. Oh, but it's not risky to sit in a bond. Yes, it is, because you're destroying the opportunity to earn more money. This morning I was chatting to people, I said, you have to learn this stuff. Unless you want to work all your life till you die, you have to learn this stuff, okay? Because my money and my clients' money, it works every day. Like, I have loads of energy, I love working, but still, I don't work 168 hours a week. But my money does. It works 168 hours a week, every single week. Christmas Day, it never even asks for an hour off. And if it takes you 1 year to learn this stuff, okay, which it does in our Retire Early Club, literally with 1 year we can teach you pretty much everything, okay? But if it takes you 1 year to learn all this stuff, you have it for the rest of your life. And that is the beauty of education and how it compounds, okay? So, bonds don't work. What about stocks? Bonds, you're not beating inflation. You could be putting that capital to work in a better asset class and actually earning yourself money, okay? So 40% of your portfolio is just, you're guaranteed to lose money. And that's as plain as day for anyone who understands how inflation works, that if you're earning 3% and, let's give it to death here. Wah! You need a little blip in the morning just to get the adrenaline going, folks. Okay? All within the speed limit. We just got there very fast. So your bonds aren't working. You've just decided, okay, with 40% of my money, I only want 60% of my money to actually work for me. I'm just going to shoot myself in the foot because life's hard and I want to make it harder. So bonds aren't working. They're not beating inflation when you inflation adjust them or price them in the amount that the currency supply expands. It means that your hurdle rate's 10%. Unless you're getting a pay rise of 10% a year, you're falling behind. Now, it's hidden though. You see, most people don't get this because we have technology. And what technology is doing is driving down the price of everything. It's giving you more for less. Every single year, technology gives us more for less. And that's why most people don't realize that they're losing purchasing power because technology gives them more. So it sort of hides this fact, okay? Anyone who studied Bitcoin or done any of our work or worked with me, you know exactly what's going on. And that's why life's become so easy for you, because you can work the system to your advantage instead of allowing the system to work you for its advantage, which is what happens to people who don't understand money or how money works or how the money system works. So that's 40%. What about the other 60%? Just buy stocks. Okay, and this did work. However, when you look at the stock market, there's like 5 companies, I think it might be 4 now, that are actually beating the expansion of the money supply. So of the 30,000 stocks you can buy, you've got to pick the correct 5 to actually get anywhere. But what does your traditional financial advisor do? Do they pick them? Nah, they just put you in an indices. Okay, an indices is just a basket of stocks. So rather than picking specific stocks, the winners like, you get to have all the losers as well. Okay, so you just get a broad basket, and that'd be something like the S&P index. Okay, and for the last 20 years, being involved in the S&P index has worked. Okay, but there's bad news, people. This is why pensions, in my opinion, my personal opinion, pensions are an absolute scam. And if you actually understand the risk of a pension, how they work, you wouldn't bother putting money in. Even though it might be tax efficient, I'd be like, you figure out, I'll teach you everything. You take the hit on the tax today, and then it's your money forever. And I guarantee you that with a bit of education, you can turn it into a hell of a lot more money. Now, I'm not going to tell you, get rid of your pension now, don't have a pension, you don't have a clue what to do. Okay, but I will say to you, build your own pension. Okay, it might be my firm opinion that pensions are a scam, but for most of you don't have the education to manage your own money yet. Okay, but you should build your own Bitcoin retirement plan, okay, and have it along with your pension. So now you're the best of both worlds. When the pension scam rug pulls you and doesn't really return feck all when you go to withdraw the thing in 10, 20, 30 years, whatever it is, at least you'll have built a Bitcoin pension, okay, to save you. Okay, we might just stay here. So the stock part of the portfolio isn't returning because when you price it in the expansion of the money supply, you'll realize that the S&P, what's it average? 10, 15%? No, not even 15. 10% maybe over the last 20 years. Well, the money supply has expanded by that exact figure. So all you have done is you've taken all the risk, you've given your money away to companies to take risk with, okay? So you took all the risk and they made all the money. And you're just keeping up. You're just keeping your purchasing power. You're not actually getting ahead. And guess what? For the privilege of the euros that you made, even though you don't make purchasing power, because 10 grand 10 years ago isn't the same as 10 grand today, people. I hope you understand that. And 10 grand today is not the same as 10 grand in 5 years' time or 10 grand in 10 years' time. It's constantly losing its value, okay? So although you might have made 10 grand, okay, or made money on your 10 grand or your 100 grand, whatever the figure was, it doesn't matter, okay? You haven't made anything in purchasing power. And investors, if you want to get ahead in this world and you want more time to do fun things and you don't want to work as much, you've got to focus on your purchasing power. That's the only thing that matters, is your purchasing power. Not how much money you have in the bank. When I was poor, I used to, and before I understood money, I used to think rich people had loads of money in the bank. Now I have no money in the bank. Because it's the worst place for your money. The only thing that does is make the banks rich. And the banks are rich enough. Okay? Remember 2008? They took all the risk. They made all the money. Billions they made for themselves. Who paid for it? You did. And your kids. They're going to pay for it. That's the exact reason why you can't afford a house. If you can't afford a house, it's because of what the banks done and what the government done in 2008. And guess what? We repeated it in 2020. So nothing changes. And this is the exact reason why Bitcoin was invented. It was invented to allow you to protect your purchasing power. Okay, and remember what I said to you. People who understand wealth, they only focus on their purchasing power. So Bitcoin allows you a vehicle, a system that's non-sovereign, meaning governments can't control it or corrupt it or break it or print it, okay, which is how they steal your money. They print money every day. The European Central Bank going to issue some bonds today. They're going to devalue all the savings in my bank account. That's why there's not much in there, people. Because I don't like getting my money stolen from me silently. I pay tax. I pay a lot of tax. Okay, and but inflation's a silent tax, and it's generally a tax on people who don't understand how finance or money works. So shameless plug, if you want to learn all this stuff, go and look at my website, Bitcoin With Dinny. Go and check out our consulting where we teach you all this, or go and check out our Retire Early Club, where over the course of a year we literally teach you how to go from I have no clue what to do, this stuff makes me nervous, to I absolutely know how to control my future, how to control my finances, and I feel awesome because I don't have to trust anybody. And I have zero worries about my future because I understand all this. Everything is in my control. Guys, do me a favor, hit the like button. Let's try and push this content out to more and more people. The 60-40 is broken, okay? You've got to pick a handful of companies. Even if you invest in the indices, you're not even you're not making money. You're just keeping up with the expansion of the currency supply. So you're just basically keeping your purchasing power. So you're not making money, but the caveat is you're going to pay a load of tax on it, because the system is going to say, oh, well, you're after making 50 grand over the last 10 years. You got to pay tax on that 50 grand, even though you haven't. So when you actually, use first principles thinking, it's like you took all the risk, you gave them all the money, the financial advisor made all the money, the pension manager made all the money, or the stock company you gave your money to made all your money, or you gave to a government bond and they just squandered it and wasted it, because let's face it, that's what they do with money. They're the most inefficient company on the planet. That's why it is the law that you must give them money, and that is why they are an inefficient company, because they don't have to be efficient. It is the law that you must give. They take your money, so they don't have to be efficient with it, and that's why we see governments only get bigger and they only look for more and more of your money. And we see that they just destroy the capital and they make mistakes constantly. And that's just the system, okay? And you can argue with it and shout at clouds all you want. But I don't. I just that's the way it is. That's the way the world works. The best thing I can do is just get filthy rich. And I don't have to worry about all that stuff. And that's what you should do too, all right? And that doesn't mean you're obsessed about money. I don't care about money. Money's a game to me, okay? I care about building companies and building value in people's lives. That's what gets me out of bed. That's the buzz for me. So, massive rant today. Sorry, I have a lot on the brain. Big brain dump. But the traditional portfolio, it's broken. It doesn't work. There's a different way of doing things. And if you pay attention and watch what some of the world's wealthiest people are doing, you'll notice they're not doing 60-40 anymore. I've read all their books. They taught me everything they know. Anyway, I'm going to jump out here, get myself a coffee, and then I'm heading to the office. I have a full day of meetings, consulting, building plans to retire early. It's going to be awesome. I'm setting up wallets this morning, so we're going to make sure everything is done correctly with the technical side of things. And I hope you have a super day. There's a world of opportunity. Get out there, create value, be happy, be positive. It's a beautiful day today. And let's make the most of it. Dinny out.